This is Leah and Trizzy, and we are two voices, two views, and two ways to adventure from anywhere.
We prioritize travel in our lives, and we both travel very differently.
Every other Wednesday, we drop episodes featuring the coolest travelers around the globe, local business owners, community episodes from you, and of course, us, your resident travel lovers.
This is Ticket to Anywhere podcast. Watch us on YouTube or anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Safety Wing is the world's first international travel medical insurance developed to meet the needs of entrepreneurs and remote workers traveling or living abroad worldwide. The Safety Wing Nomad Insurance includes both travel and travel medical insurance, which includes coverage for any travel delays, lost checked bags, emergency response, and natural disasters, plus coverage and access to qualified global network of hospitals and doctors for unexpected medical problems and accidents, and any emergency medical evacuations. You can sign up for Nomad Insurance even if your trip is already happening, or sign up in advance by selecting a future start date. For only $42 per 4 weeks, you can be covered under Safety Wing and its Nomad Insurance. Click the link in our description for more info and to sign up. Safe travels! The one, the only, me on the map on the show today. Super excited. Look at those glasses. For those who are just listening, she has these red heart-shaped glasses. Or her hearts are the eyebrows part, I guess.
That she uses to look at her students and make them laugh with as a teacher.
They do work.
Yes. Exactly. Me on the map, slow traveler. I am outnumbered today because I am not a slow traveler, which I hope one day I will become.
Yes.
And she's an amazing storyteller. If you guys listen to her or read her words, it makes you cry. It puts you in an emotion. I love it.
You're going to make me cry right now.
But then there's the happy side. There's the happy, fun side of Mia as well.
Oh.
Mia, first question, coffee or tea?
Ooh, well, I'm drinking coffee right now.
Oh,
so we're gonna go with coffee.
Enough
we're
said.
gonna go with coffee.
Cheers to that.
Cheers! But I do love matcha, so
yes,
there's that.
Oh, okay, so Mia just held up, for those of you not watching, Mia just held up one of the Starbucks location cups. Where's that one from?
Chihuahua, Mexico.
Oh my gosh, wow. It's so cool when I see kind of like unsuspecting cities have their own Starbucks cup.
Yeah, I have a lot of these now, but I don't have Indianapolis or Michigan, which is those are like the two places where I spend most of my time with. So I'm a collector of interesting mugs, and when I was in Washington, I went to this art fair and I got a little carried away because I love mugs and there's so many cute mugs. And this man had this mug with like I kind of want to show it to you, but it's right over there. Anyway, it has this beautiful, cool indigenous design, and the handle is like kind of like a lightning shape. Super great. Yeah. If I have a good mug, my day is set. And
same here. But I have to remind myself I need to stop buying them. I'm like, what's the point?
Yeah,
right.
Having all these mugs.
Especially if you travel, it's not like I'm gonna pack all these in my suitcase.
It's just like an easy gift for other people. Like, people see me drink tea a lot, and this past Christmas I got like 6 mugs, and I love them. Don't get me wrong, but I'm trying to be a minimalist too.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm definitely a maximalist, but I desire to be a minimalist. I just have a bad habit.
Mia? I want to talk about that actually, because I would have pegged you for a minimalist.
If anyone sees me pack, I have to start packing like a month in advance, and I'll pack everything I want to pack, and then a week later I'm like, take half of it out. You can't take this with you. And then when it gets closer, I'm like, you still can't take all this with you. So take like at least a third more of it out, because I get really indecisive, and I like giving gifts when I travel. And so I like bringing things from the States to give as gifts, but I also I'm indecisive. So I'm like, what if there's a red carpet and I need to wear this gown?
100%.
Obviously, 100%. That's the way to
100%.
rationally think about packing.
It's the Grammys out here every night. We got to be changing, right?
Right.
Oh. Wait, I want to dive a little deeper into this because I love talking about packing, because I try very hard to be a minimalist myself, and I I have a goal of getting better every single trip, but I'm always curious
Yeah.
about other people that do it. So Mia and I went to two travel conferences this year. We met up at two travel conferences, Wanderfest in New Orleans in March, and then TravelCon in Memphis in April. So how did you pack for those, like carry on versus checked? And like, did you use every single item that you packed with you?
Okay, great question. So
Okay.
TravelCon, I drove to TravelCon,
Yes.
which
Which means you brought your
changes.
whole
I
bedroom.
literally, yeah, I wanted to make a funny reel kind of showing how I traveled versus I think it was who else? Madi. I stayed with Madi Bell and she
Mhm.
packed with like a carry-on. And I wanted to just showcase how I had the entire trunk full of all of my clothes. Cause also it was my first time at TravelCon, so I didn't really know
Mhm.
what the vibe was.
Mhm.
Um, yes, but normally when I travel, if I go on a plane, it's always a carry-on.
Okay.
Always. So that's why I have to pack months in advance to make sure. And normally I'm moving abroad. Like when I travel,
Yeah.
normally it's like, bye, gone for 3 months, and I stay for like 2 years. And
Mhm.
so I never know what I'm going to do. So I try
Wow.
to just,
I love Dang, does that just happen to anyone else? Like 3 months turns into
I
2
know,
years.
man. That's why slow traveler.
yeah, it's the
Bingo.
way to go.
So did
Yeah,
you use everything at Wonderfest then since you flew?
absolutely not. No. And you know what the funny thing is too? I didn't use everything, but I did borrow clothes from Maria.
Oh my gosh,
I know,
that
you
is
know, when you pack
so funny.
and you pack like a little bit and you're like, great, great, good job. I packed a little bit. And then you're like, but none of this is right. It
Mm.
just, and it was kind
None
of
of it is
cold.
yep.
I'm worse when it's cold. I think when I'm cold,
Yeah.
I'm pretty miserable. And I
Mm.
did live in Michigan for like 6 years. So
Really? Ooh, is that
Yeah.
colder than where you're based right now, which is
yes, Indiana.
Indianapolis? Yeah, Indiana.
Indianapolis. Everyone come visit Indy,
There we
the
go.
city that is on the rise for fun. Because
There
I'm
you
here.
go. Because it has its first certified drone pilot in the house on the Ticket to
Hey.
Anywhere
Here
episode
I
right
am.
now.
Woo! Yay! Yeah.
So, how is droning going from you? I know
Ooh.
you got kind of your first initial push and a
Yeah.
drone from our good friend Christine.
Christine, the drone queen. Yeah, that honestly, I it's just really changed my life in like pretty big ways. And Christine too is such a good connector and
Mhm.
coach. So I think anytime I fly now, if I get nervous about something, there's something that she said to me when I was first learning how to fly. And now I apply it to when I'm first learning how to do anything, where she said, don't be so hard on yourself. How many times have you done this? You're still learning, right? This is new, and give yourself some grace and just keep trying. And I was like, yeah. And
Yeah.
that's really stuck with me. And so now um I fly all the time. And it's interesting cuz where Christine lives, and so she flew me out for like an all expenses paid trip for that drone
Oh,
giveaway,
nice.
which was pretty
Mhm.
incredible. And so most of the places we were flying were like beaches, more open areas. And now I'm in Indianapolis. I mean, there are some beaches in Indiana, but I'm like learning how to fly around buildings, and
Yeah. Oh
it's a
gosh.
different feeling. I
Right.
know at first I was like, "Oh no, you're too close. You're too close. The
I know.
wind, it's gonna fly over there and hit it." Um, but I'm gonna be honest, this is learning how to fly drones has been the most empowering thing from this year. Like I don't know how to explain it, but I think when you
Mhm.
can see things from a new perspective,
Yeah.
and know that you're mostly in control, it just feels really good, and it feels good to show those photos to other people and be able to um, show them Indiana in a new way and Michigan too. And for me to be able to see like places
Mhm.
where I've grown up, but to see it from a different perspective, it's super cool. So if
Yeah.
anyone
I
wants
mean,
to
I
learn
like
how
the
to fly drone,
foliage drones
me
photos
too.
that you
Mhm.
usually put up. I love
Michigan.
it.
Yeah.
Michigan.
Michigan's
Okay.
like my favorite state. that I've been to.
Really?
It's so beautiful, you guys. Summertime in Michigan is unbeatable to me. It's just, and I kind of like, I learned how to walk in Michigan. I went to school there, and
Oh,
there's this place called Pictured Rocks. Everyone listening, take notes. Michigan summertime, Pictured Rocks. It
Pictured
looks
rocks.
like a different country. It's like
ooh,
the water is crystal clear. You're looking at these like cliff faces. You can go kayaking, you can camp, you can go to, I think it's like Santa Claus City, Santa Claus. There's like a Christmas themed town. It's kind of weird, but
I know what you
anyway,
mean.
you know, so yeah, I really I have a lot of recommendations for Michigan, and then Indiana. I grew up here, but it never felt like home to me until
Hmm.
this year, and so I because I'd lived
Wow.
abroad for so long for most of my
Hmm.
like adult life that Indiana felt like one of the most foreign places to me.
Hmm.
Didn't expect to be back here, and thank you, Panini pandemic. Um, but now that I'm here, I always try to like engage in the place that I'm living in and try
Hmm.
to connect as best as possible. And when I was a teenager, I didn't really do much of that. It was mostly
Yeah.
school, friends. But now it's like, oh, let's get to know my city in a new way. And so
Mhm.
it's been a fun experience being back here as an adult.
That's so good to hear. I think a lot of us did some like soul searching about where we were currently, right? At the start of everything in March 2020.
Mm,
Um and even we did the same about LA, so I can only imagine like how it felt about Indiana on, it's a different type of city, it's a smaller city, and so and we none of us could move. So
yeah, yeah, it
we'd
was
love to get out
rough.
there and visit you.
Please do. Please, I mean, seriously, list of great coffee shops here for you.
I'm
Trizzy,
ready.
there are some places with boba, and I
I'll
will
bring my
take you
own.
to those places.
Bring her-
Also, bring your own. But
She just needs some fried chicken.
That's right.
ooh,
That's
we can
I
do that.
know you know some fried chicken
Oh
places. No, I'm
yeah,
just
I mean, come on.
I'm
I
all about
love
that.
friend chicken.
Fried chicken and boba. That's all I
So
need.
good. The best I
like
bet the place
together.
in
I know
Michigan
it's
to
like
recommend.
together.
Together, yes.
It's the best
Together.
combo. It's the best combo. My old roommate he's from Taiwan, and so Fridays we would have fried chicken and boba night.
Oh my
It
gosh.
was the
From a
best.
Taiwanese chef.
Yeah,
Mm.
I
Wait, he
mean,
cooked it or bought it?
he cooked it. I would call him a
Stop.
chef. He wouldn't call himself a chef,
Yeah.
but
Oh
he's good at
man,
cooking.
Taiwanese chicken is amazing too. Like the
Ugh.
what is it? Hot star chicken. Oh,
Yeah.
get off of me.
What is
Get
it?
off
What is
of
it
me.
like? I don't
I'm
eat
like
meat. For
drooling.
those listening,
Oh, I
Leah
forget.
does not
Every
eat
time I
meat.
forget.
Yeah, but
It's like the size of
what
my
is it like?
face, right? So it's like this chicken that's flattened, tendered, size of my face, battered, deep fried, and you just eat it like with your hands and yeah, like
Does it have
nothing
like a
else.
Just like
different type
this.
of seasoning? Is that
They,
why?
they you could put some like 5 star or what is this, 5 spice on
Oh
it
yeah.
or
So
some
even
other
just like
type of
classic salt and
hmm
pepper kind of.
yeah,
Yeah. So good.
so good.
Okay.
So
I mean, I'm
good.
sure it'll smell good. I will never eat it, but
The boba was also good. I'll
Oh,
add that.
I kind
amazing.
of wish I could eat the chicken skin. Is that weird? Just because it's just fried batter.
Oh
I
yeah,
like.
that's true. You can.
Oh yeah.
I could. I mean, I've cheated. I had like duck fat fries last year in London, and I was like, this isn't very
Was it worth
vegetarian.
it? Was it good?
Oh, it was so worth it. But like, I was like, this isn't. And I had like a snail in Morocco a few years ago. I'm like,
It's hard when I will say, like, when you're traveling, and something that I learned traveling, because I went through a period where I was like, I would love to be a vegetarian. It really helps out the world, especially like my family eats way too much red meat. I just grew up
Mm,
in like a
mm-hmm,
very heavy meat eating family,
mm-hmm,
and living abroad, like a lot of people don't have access to that.
yeah.
So I like my what I ended up doing was just if I'm staying with a family, which always I always end up staying with a host family wherever I'm living.
love
I
that.
will just eat whatever they make for me, and um, it's been an interesting array of foods I've been offered, and I always try everything once. So I lived in Georgia, the state, for
Mm-hmm.
I think it was about 3 years, and I moved there right after college, and I was working in this intentional. community that hosts like newly arrived refugees and asylum seekers. So a lot of the people that I was meeting and spending my days with, they were from like Congo, Eritrea, and then Myanmar, Burma, and Thailand. And so I remember the first time my friend, her name's Baba, she is an awesome chef, and she's from Thailand. She grew up in the camps, refugee camps in Thailand, and was resettled in Georgia. And I was her English teacher, and I was, yeah, working as an English teacher in this community. And the first time she invited me over, she had this like, she's like, I worked so hard on this. I'm really excited to show you Korean food. Her, yeah, the ethnic background she's from is Korean. It's spelled like Karen. And she was like, yeah, come sit down. And it was like, chicken feet and whole frogs and oh, what was
Like
it?
meat
This
heavy?
catfish. I mean, it was it was just different. It was just
Mhm.
different textures than I
Mm.
was used to. Um, and I'm not gonna say I was a fan, but I will say from what she gave me, she did a really good job of like seasoning it all.
Hmm.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was my first introduction to that. And then I have eaten quite a bit. South Africa, they had warthog as like a common meat option in the supermarket. It was like warthog. So
Warthog.
sorry,
Wow.
Pumbaa. Yeah.
Do they do they roast the warthog like they do in the Philippines, like the whole lechon?
I've never
They
been.
have it on the stick. They have
I've
it like
always,
they
I know
basically
what you're
roast
talking
it
about.
on the stick like they do it in Hawaii as well.
I've always
In some
wanted to
Pacific.
see that. I think yeah, they didn't do that. There was just like you go to the supermarket and there's
Okay.
right next to like the chicken and steak. It's warthog steak.
Interesting.
Yeah, I
I
know. I
wonder how
know.
that is.
It was pretty good. It's kind of like, I mean, it's kind of like pork, but
Warthog.
yeah, yeah. But
Okay.
I try to be, well, I try to be intentional about what I'm eating,
Mhm.
depending on like the hosts that are in my, that whoever's like hosting me. And then when I'm on my own, I do my best to just cook some fresh food from the supermarket or markets, depending on where I am.
Yeah. Of
Yeah.
course. Market's the first stop
Oh,
usually.
the best stop. I really wish there were more. I mean, I love the farmers markets here, but it's not the same as just like popping out and seeing a fruit
No.
stand or going, yeah, it's
And the
just,
fact that farmers markets are like once a week in
I
America.
know.
What is this? Mia, I would love to hear more about your time living in other countries
Yeah. Yeah.
and what you've learned from there because I feel like you've given us, some tidbits here and there, even just living in other states. But I know you, as a guest on here, have learned some big lessons while you've been abroad.
Yeah. Sure have. I think slow travel has really served me well. I always tell people when people ask me, why do you travel so much? And I say, I travel for people and I travel to grow. And you can't grow if you're in your comfort zone. And so I think I always try to choose places that I know I could learn a lot from. Like South Africa, I learned a lot about my own racial identity and how I represent the US too.
Mhm.
It was the first place where I learned how to feel more comfortable talking about race because people talk about it all the time. Um, and because I was living with a family, well, I was not my current boyfriend, but at the time I was dating somebody, and he's a Black Zimbabwean, and he invited me to stay with his family. I wanted to stay longer, and um, it was just a really great and uncomfortable at first, but great experience. Being the only white person in the room and kind of grappling with that, and also knowing, man, you don't know what you don't know until you're in a situation like that, and then
Mhm.
you listen and you learn. Um, and I think it's really easy for people to travel to a place and not learn anything. A lot of people sometimes equate travel to like, wow, instant, open mind, growth. But it's really not that way. It's so easy for people that just like stay in their comfort zone while they're traveling. Um, Sipping those mai tais on the beach,
Mhm.
which is
Mm,
great.
yeah.
I also appreciate that type of travel.
Mhm.
But I think if you want to grow, you have to really put yourself in those situations that you know will kind of force you to grow. So South Africa was kind of like the country that really changed the trajectory of my life. It's also what got me interested in um, immigration issues and working with refugees and asylum seekers. Yeah, and then Japan was the next place where honestly Japan, I never thought I would be in Japan. It was never, and I look back now and I'm like, how did I say this? But it was never on my list of places to see. And I just happened
Mm.
to, I was like practicing interviewing in college. My boss at the time, I was working in a study abroad office, and my boss was like, oh, there's this school in Japan. They're coming here and doing interviews. You should just like what practice interviewing, like you're a senior, you still don't know what's next, go to the interview. And before the interview, they had an info session and they were just showing like what the apartments looked like, and they were showing the city and classes, and I'm like, oh, well, I can see myself there. Like, I'm actually going to put some real effort into this interview because I really want it. And the interview was kind of hysterical. It was like two kind of serious men. One of them was American, one of them was Japanese, and who later ended up being my boss. And he just had this kind of old video camera the whole time filming the interview. And I had to do a mock teaching lesson, and so I sang a song that I wrote because I love singing, and I like make up songs all the time, and put together a little game for them to play because when you're teaching, you have to get teaching jobs, usually you have to do like mock lessons for adults. Um, yeah, another uncomfortable experience. But I got the job, went to Japan, and I really didn't know a lot about Japan before going there. And I think I just automatically had some like stereotypes or biases in my head about what it would be like. And it was so different from what I had imagined, from what the media puts out there all the time. Like, I think the media tells one story, and it's not that that story is false, it's just not the whole story, right? And
Hmm.
so um, that's why I recommend if you can travel, like go do it because you have to see these stories for yourself and experience it for
Mhm.
yourself.
Hmm.
Um, so, yes, people in Japan are very polite, but also like, are they gonna maybe talk about you behind your back sometimes?
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, and I think when I was working in a school there, there was that politeness on the phone talking to customers, and
Hmm.
then immediately after it was like work gossip happened, and
Yep.
I'm like, oh, okay. I can relax a little bit because I know like I can relate to some of this. Um, but I stayed there for a long time. I wouldn't have seen that had it been like a short trip.
Right.
Um, yeah, so and I know not everybody can slow travel, but if you do travel to other countries and you're able to stay with like a family or find a way to like get those local connections kind of quickly,
Hmm.
that's a really great way to learn things that you wouldn't learn had you stayed in like a hostel or a hotel.
How do you like
Nice.
make those cold local connections?
Ooh.
Because you've gone to places with jobs, with boyfriends, etc. But
Mhm.
like, have you shown up anywhere where you like, first time here, don't know anybody, would love to meet some locals? Like, how do you do that for
Yeah, no,
people
that's
who,
literally like
yeah.
everywhere. The boyfriend I had in South Africa, we kind of met in a club, and they were playing Sean Paul music, and we danced
So
into
go
the
to the
sun.
club.
Yeah, go
Go
to
to the
the club.
club. This is
Step
how.
number one. Actually, no, that's funny. I, you guys met me in New Orleans, and I really appreciate sleep. And kind of
Yes.
like Trizzy, right? I wake up normally super early. People here make fun of me because they're like, it's 9 o'clock, it's Mia's bedtime. But like Cape Town was the first place where I was like, oh, this is all new. Like I'm gonna just do what people here are doing. But anyway, how I meet locals and like connect with people where I'm living is different with every trip.
Mm-hmm.
I there's something really comforting to me about having a friend from that local country or staying with a family. I think because I was adopted, family structure is really interesting to me, and every time I make those connections or stay with a host family, I feel fulfilled in this strange way. Um, so I've met an example. My best friend in Japan, shout out to Kana, she's awesome. We met on a Facebook language exchange group a year before I was going to Japan
Wow.
because I knew like if I'm gonna live here, like at least do the service of trying to learn the language a bit. Um, and yeah, so she was the only person in that group who there was like this natural conversation flowing, and we also bonded because we both like the Fast and Furious movies.
Me too, though. It's
I
literally in
oh,
my dating profile that,
oh
like,
my gosh,
yeah, that I'm
yes.
obsessed with them. So,
Me too. And she learned my friend Kana learned English from those movies, which was so
oh,
funny. And so
wow.
she became like my pen pal. I love writing letters. And so we sent letters back and forth. She sent pictures of her family and said, when you come to Japan, like come stay with my family. And at the time, I was like, yes, yes, of course. I didn't realize how expensive travel within Japan can be. And
Mm.
so she lives
Mhm.
on the northern island in Hokkaido. Um, I lived in the mainland in Gifu Prefecture, and the flight was pretty expensive, but I still made it out to stay with her and her family. In the let's see, I was there for winter. I was there in the summertime and fall. Yeah. Um, and I stayed with her family for like the vacations that I had during our school year break while I was teaching. And it was just magical. It was so great because I think when you meet people who don't fit that stereotypical mold, it changes the way that you think about the culture. Because I think when you don't know, for me personally, like when I don't know a lot about a culture or like a people group, it's so easy in my head to just group people as like one. And this
Mhm.
is like, yeah, I talk about this a lot as travel has helped me kind of learn how to be anti racist, even when I find it in myself, of like, this is why I mean, I know it's a privilege to be able to travel, but I try to use that privilege and learn from it and unlearn some things and learn some new things. And so
Mhm.
Mhm.
staying with her family was such a gift. It also really helped my language skills because she spoke some English, her family did not, and they're farmers, and so it was a great way to like see a different way of life. And oh my gosh, they made amazing tomato juice. You guys, I don't like
Ooh.
tomato juice. Typically, I'm like, why would people drink
Right.
tomatoes? So good. It was so good. Anyway,
Wow.
this is getting a little off track, but if you ever go to Japan and need some friends, I've got some people to connect you to. So,
I love
That's
that.
um, Facebook groups, couch surfing,
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
getting lost. I've actually made quite a few friends when I was lost, and I get lost everywhere. Because my memory is kind of bad and my phone often dies. I need to upgrade it. But
My phone.
it,
We
Because
experienced
you
that in
can't
New Orleans.
do you
because
know
you can't
why?
fit a 9-foot charger with you in your purse everywhere you go.
I was too busy using it to tie up my bag, So like, and in the
When is
airport, listen, guys, I was in the airport in Seattle, and I was the like terminal I was in, no outlets except for one, and it was
Mm.
very far away from the chairs. And do you know what I did? I used my long charger,
you
and
use
I
your
could
long
sit
charger?
in that chair. And
And you also could have had a portable one.
also that, yeah,
Coulda,
but
woulda, shoulda.
you have to. I have one of those too, but then you have to keep that charged,
Charge,
and it's
That's
yes.
like
true. Yeah, that's
That is
difficult.
my to be honest, that is my struggle until I've gone in some very serious situations without a phone, and I'm like, I need to step up my game. But I also now have multiple portable chargers.
smart,
So if one's not charged, then
savvy traveler.
yep. Okay, because we know you, we know that you're leaving out a big country that you've been to, but our audience doesn't know.
Which country is this? Is it Thailand? Did I not talk about Thailand?
You
It's
talked
Thailand.
about a little bit of it.
Okay.
But I know it was very I mean, I know this. Trizzy doesn't. The audience doesn't. But I know it was life-changing for you.
It was. I Yeah, I think so. Like I said before, like I travel for people. I get kind of attached to people, and so to backtrack, I was adopted when I was a baby, And I knew about this growing up. My parents always told me I was adopted. And even though I love my parents to death, there was still a part of me that wanted to know where I came from, wanted to understand myself more, because being able to know your identity is also a privilege that not
Mhm.
everyone has. Um, yeah, and so I think a part of me was always searching. So I kind of go gravitate towards places where there's just this like feeling and connection. And so when I lived in Georgia, when I was teaching in Georgia, I wanted to stay there because I was building these really great connections. Um, so I went to Japan for a year, kept thinking about Georgia, moved back. And this is like rural, small town Georgia, like one gas station, one restaurant. I don't know why I always end up in these rural places. Thailand too, middle of nowhere, Japan, rural, like I don't know what it is. People started calling me like a country bumpkin, and I was like, well, okay.
Country
I don't
bumpkin.
even really know, whatever. But I think those rural areas and those small towns, the people connect differently
Yeah.
than in
Oh,
bigger
yeah.
cities. So living in that small town, not a lot of apartments to rent. And my student at the time, so I taught adult beginner English, and one of my students was like, "We want you to stay. We know like your time in this community is coming to an end. Are you going to stay in Comer?" Oops, I said the name of the city. Edit that out. They're like, "Are you going to stay here, or are you going to go back to Indiana?" And because that community was pretty like transient place, a lot of people came and went. I was like, I'd love to stay and get to know you all more. I'm just looking for an apartment. And my student slash friend at the time was like, "Oh, just come live with my family." Didn't think about it, didn't ask her family. She was like, "No, just come live with us." And I was like, "Do you want to like run that by your family first too? Because I don't know. I mean,
Right.
maybe, but also I would love to." And she's so funny, just one of my best friends. And so her family was fine with it, and that's what I've learned a lot about like Karen culture and Karenni culture, like cultural group
Mhm.
from the borderland of Thailand and Myanmar, from Burma, from Thailand, all
Mhm.
over. So welcoming. Um, yeah, they just know how to welcome in people so well. Most of the people that I've met and the people that I've been close with. And so I moved all my stuff in, and it was just the best. There were definitely some language barriers, but we made it work and lived the farm life for a bit. And then she had family who was getting resettled from a refugee camp in Thailand. They were coming to be resettled in Atlanta. And later they were going to move into her house. And I was like, I don't really feel right taking up a whole bedroom here. I'm going to find a different place to live. And so I was, I had like three best friends at the time, and two of them were my students. That's how we met initially. But when I'm teaching, I don't really consider people as like I don't see much of a
Mhm.
hierarchy when I'm teaching adults.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
more of like, let's
Mhm.
all learn from each other. I'm going to share the things that I know, the way that I know how, and I'm going to learn from you too. Um, so it made it a lot easier for me to get to know people that way. And so then I lived with a different family who's Karenni, and um, different language, different clothing, some different like cultural traditions and spiritual traditions. Um, and we would have, I started like a women's group with them, a weaving group
Wow.
where they could, we traveled around to different farmers markets to showcase like Korean and Karenni weaving from Thailand and Burma. And they got to share about their culture, and I got to like chat with people at the farmers market, which I loved. They taught me how to weave a bit, but the time came where I I've done a lot of different jobs. I was working in a library, teaching at a technical college, working in a bakery too, and my contract was coming to an end for the college. And the family I was living with, they had said, we really want to go back to Thailand. We're still waiting on our green card. Like, you should go to Thailand for us. Like, and I really wanted to understand more about them because we had spent 2 years together sharing meals on the floor, laughing, like just having the best time, staying up late. And there's something really special about getting to see where somebody's from and to know the culture before you go.
Mhm.
So I went to Thailand. I told everyone. See ya. Going for 3 months, going for the summer. Can't wait to come back and share all about it and bring you all some snacks. And I was supposed to work in a refugee camp in Thailand. The Thai government had changed their regulations right before I came, like the week before I came. So I last minute made different plans to teach in a boarding school there. And I was working with 76 students on the border of Thailand and Myanmar. And it's another type of like family living situation when you're working in a boarding school and you're with each other 24/7. You're with each other for English classes, you're with each other to play volleyball,
Mhm.
music, hunting. I didn't really go hunting, but I did learn how to shoot a slingshot pretty well.
Ooh.
Um, and it was just, I started to learn the language better than I had when I was living in the States because I wasn't being so lazy about it. Um, yeah, I'm talking a lot, but
It's a
thanks for
podcast.
listening. I know. But yeah,
You're allowed to.
Thailand's
Oh.
it just really changed me, and it's not because of the place itself, it's because of the people that I met. And so I think too, like being in the border area is a really unique situation. And I became very, even more passionate about human rights, movement, what people in refugee camps, like the rights that they have and the privileges that they're awarded are non existent. And so I think when a problem becomes personal, so when you become friends with somebody who's experiencing this, some type of issue, whether it's racism, not having access to clean water, like war happening, it starts to feel more like your problem the more you get close with that person. And for me, I was close with 76 students, hearing about how they're active. They're very like politically active because they have to be. Yeah, I think anyway, getting distracted thinking about them. But yeah, I think when I started to make their problems personal to me, it put me into this whole new path. So yeah.
This reminds me of, I don't know if you guys watch the Avengers or anything, but Thor, he's from this place called Asgard. But
Mhm.
Asgard is not a place, it's the people. And that kind of just reminded me of,
Mm,
how,
Oh.
you know, eh, the people can move to anywhere in the world and they can
Mhm.
make it Thailand, they can make it
mhm.
Seattle, they can make it LA. It's the people, not the
Yeah.
place.
Yep.
Yes. Always the people, not the place. Those are the
Hmm.
memories that stick with you.
Yeah. I didn't know that about Thor, about Asgard and Thor actually. I'm like, wow.
Same.
Um this has been so eye-opening, Mia.
Yeah.
It's
I
Like I
so
love
said,
nice
hearing
your
your
words, so
to
your
experiences about
words are
Thor.
beautiful too.
Yeah.
you
This is
guys.
why you're a storyteller.
Oh, you all make it easy, honestly. Best hosts, and it also helps that we're friends too. So
I know that you have won quite a few things this year. Kind of switching gears a little bit, but
Mhm.
I think a lot of us have in the travel community have considered you probably the luckiest person in the world with all the things that you have won. And not to brag about them, but it's so curious that, I want to know what you're going to do with all of this good fortune.
You know what? Yeah, I don't know what happened this year, but I don't know if this is related, but there got to a point where I really enjoy watching Gabby Beckford, Pax Light, her content, because she's always saying, just apply. You don't know how many people are applying. Like, just put yourself out there. It's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started applying for everything and not just like, oh, I'm just gonna like add my name in the hat. It was more of
Mm-hmm.
a um, let me actually try. And so the first thing that I won when I had that mind shift was Christine Lozada's drone giveaway. And I had gone to like her TNN presentation, the Nomadic Network's presentation about drones. And after that was over, she said, I'm hosting a competition. You can submit a video entry. And then there were some like essay questions too. And so I shared a lot about like why I wanted a drone, and it's kind of changed now. Um, but I really wanted to be able to show the world to my students who aren't able to travel like I do.
Mhm.
I wanted to be able to make videos for them, and so I do send them a lot of like videos, and we have random English lessons sometimes about it. But that was the first giveaway, and um, it just I think just knowing Christine too really shifted my like self-worth feeling. I think when I'm with somebody who really like values
Mm.
himself and who's like confident in who they are, it's it helps you become more confident in who you are too. It gives people permission
Mhm.
to like love yourself a little bit more. And I really
Yep.
struggled and still struggle with this. Yeah, like the self-love journey has been long. I think, yeah, having some rocky circumstances growing up kind of shifted that. And
Mhm.
so having winning that giveaway, um, or a competition or whatever, it was like just being in this whole new world I didn't really know existed, or I didn't know how it existed, like the content creation world. Um, Learned so much, but like the biggest takeaway was, oh, I can stand in the same room as people who are doing awesome things and still like hold my own, and I have great things to offer too. And so then I started just like, not that this works every time, but I try to just really envision somebody like being like, and the winner is Mia Townsend, or yeah, on the map.
Aw.
I just started applying for different things, and I honestly don't know how. I don't know how I won them, but the other giveaway, the big giveaway this year was a trip with Intrepid and Nikki Vargas, who gave away their book Wanderess, which is a really great book and it's beautiful. Um, and yeah, so I was planning on going to Iran with that trip, but
Mhm.
it looks like it's going to be India instead. And
Wow.
I know I'm super excited.
From Indianapolis to India.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. But honestly, it feels like such a gift to be to win these things, and so I'm trying to figure out ways to keep that giving spirit going.
Mhm.
Yeah, I did
Oh.
some of my own giveaways with my TNN presentation about teaching, but hope to find some more ways to give back. I'm working on it right now. Thanks for listening.
Big heart there.
Mhm.
Awesome. Do you, Leah, you think it's time for the T2A Q2A?
Ooh,
Yes.
Ooh.
sweating a little bit. Okay.
Get ready, Mia. Get ready.
Wait, let me just. Oh no, wait. Which
You
one?
want you want
Should
to
we go
get your
with
cool
unicorn?
glasses
Should
on?
we go with?
Ooh, unicorn.
Unicorn.
Here
Because
we are.
Mia is a unicorn. There we go. All right, we're going to get into the T2A Q2A, which is the Ticket to Anywhere Quick to Answer segment.
Woo!
Four
Really bad at these
questions.
questions. Okay.
First one is, what items do you absolutely need with you on your trips?
Oh, obviously my long phone charger. Um, no, I always bring my teaching gear with me just in case. So
Oh.
like a map, laptop, these headphones, um, and my 45-liter Osprey bag.
Mhm.
And then normally other things just end up in my bag, and I wouldn't say that I need them. So
Okay. Basically, your whole house sometimes. Like,
yes, sometimes that happens. Yeah. Normally I bring like a little ring light too, and
Mm,
a portable Wi-Fi backup. Those are like my must-haves, I think, for traveling,
okay.
especially
Okay.
because if you work online.
Yep.
Shift now.
Smart.
Okay.
100%. All
No
right.
glasses.
What else are you besides a traveler, Mia?
Ooh, okay. I am a chocolate lover. Um, and also a writer, relocation specialist,
Mhm.
drone pilot, um, lover of vulnerability, and storyteller.
Cool. Awesome. All right. What is your biggest travel flex?
Ooh, I mean, probably buying one-way tickets a lot and just not having a plan.
Huge
I
flex.
love that. Yeah, that is a really huge flex.
Just I did it for Costa Rica too. I bought that plane ticket. I recently got back from Costa Rica. It was like not recently, but October. I got back from a 3-month trip, and I bought that while sitting in a coffee shop in Grand Rapids, just like, it's time, Mia. Something within you is calling for travel. And I was just casually browsing Scotch cheap flights, bought it. Then I was like, I guess I should move out now and tell my landlord because I don't know when I'm coming back.
That's amazing. That's crazy. So you're also a solo traveler most of the
Yeah,
time.
solo,
Okay.
always, always solo.
We're the
Okay.
same.
I'm so outnumbered.
So solo.
Okay, I
Yeah.
appreciate group travels and non-solo travelers too.
Same. Yeah, I do. But like most of the time, it's me. It's me.
You know what it is? It's sometimes for me, it's harder to make those local connections or harder to meet people when I'm with a friend because
Mhm.
you just want to hang out with your awesome friends.
Right.
And yeah, so when I'm alone, people are more drawn to talking to me, I think.
Actually,
Also
it's
when I
interesting because
smile.
I mean, who would reject you when you're smiling, Miss Mia?
Yeah, got to be careful
But
who I smile at.
I also think I've gotten backlash from talking to locals and trying to
Mm,
make friends when I'm with people from back home, actually. Yeah.
Mm,
And they're like, I thought this was an us trip. And I'm just like, oh my God. I'm just
that's
trying
so
to
mean.
say,
interesting.
I know. But it's just, it's crazy how you mentioned that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're kind of right. So, and it's tough because I don't ever want to be,
It's hard to
I don't
balance.
know. Most of the time I don't go to the country just to hang out with people from back home.
Mhm.
But a lot
Mhm,
of people from back home, that's what they do.
mhm.
So,
Yeah, a lot of people back home, they want to just go somewhere with somebody because they don't know how to solo travel or
Yeah,
do
and you know what?
things their own way.
It's scary. I understand it can be scary. I think for me, people are like, "Oh, you're so brave to solo travel," and I'm like, "You're so brave to stay here in one place." Like, I just I don't see it as a bravery thing. It's just something within me that's like, I have to go. It's just calling. And so I don't think of all the things that I've learned from solo traveling until somebody else is going on their first solo trip and they're asking me questions. And I'm like, oh, I guess I do know a lot
Mhm.
from
hmm
learning on the road. Because yeah, you learn a lot as a solo traveler
Oh
having to
yeah,
rely on
especially when
yourself.
you're on your own and it's
Yeah.
just me, myself, and I to literally take care of me mentally and physically,
Hmm.
financially. Oof,
I know.
it's the best lesson.
The best lesson.
Yep. Okay,
Okay.
last question, and then Mia, let everyone know where they can find you.
Sure.
So last question's easy. Next trip.
Ooh. Okay. I do want to go back to Georgia to visit my Georgia fam, Tennessee. It's like states travel. And then
Mm-hmm.
India, hopefully in the fall. And who knows? I've been eyeing Mexico plane tickets. So
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
Mexico's so easy for us.
Yeah.
jealous. I'm
We're
jealous.
spoiled
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, it's a
No,
little
I
bit
meant like
different.
for like the US in general. It's
Oh,
so
I
easy
thought you
for
meant your
us.
location because I'm
No,
like,
I
yeah,
meant
you
like
are much closer.
no,
But
I
yeah, our
mean that, but
location.
like the US in general, Mexico's just easier for us.
Yeah,
So
I've never
so
been.
book what?
I know.
Wait. Wait, I'm like in shock. Okay,
Yeah,
so you
I've
need to
never.
take that little Starbucks Chihuahua cup and
Here
take
we
take it
are.
down to Mexico
We
with
are
you.
going. Yeah, Mexico. Thailand though too. Ah, shoot. You guys, this is the problem. I always go back to where
Everywhere.
I've been and it's just sometimes
That's
your
okay.
heart just is put in these different places and you're like, let
Of
me just
course.
rotate those places, but
Mm,
also Mexico. So
Oh, we can't wait for your
that's
first trip to
amazing.
Mexico then.
Yeah. I
I'll
know a few
document it
people
well.
who still haven't been to Mexico. So now it's not
Really?
even a
That's
surprise to
surprising.
me, yeah. And they live here.
I know I should not like I don't know why. Well, I mean, here I'm like it's different. I'm like we were once part of Mexico.
That's true.
But like I don't know. I guess yeah, I should stop having that mindset of like what? But like look at all the other incredible places you've been. Mia.
I
So
know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Me is probably like
Yeah.
Mexico is too close.
I need somewhere farther away to think
Yeah.
more about
and I think
myself.
that's what we have. It's like we have that advantage of being like I can go there anytime. It's right here,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So another
I'm gonna
opportunity
move. I'm
pops
ready to
up.
move to
Yeah.
California now. So
Oh, let's go,
We
boo.
will
Let's
welcome you with
go.
open arms.
Exactly.
at least a reunion is in order.
Yeah, that'll be amazing.
Yes,
Hmm.
please do.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
let everybody know where they can find you.
Hmm
Yes, you can find me at Mia on the map on. Okay, I'm new to TikTok, still learning, but you can find me there. Instagram. My website is www.miaonthemap.com. Find me on the streets of Indy, coffee shops, getting
Yes.
lost, asking for directions. That's where you'll also find me. So
That's
I
epic.
love it.
I love it. Thank you so much, Mia. It was nice seeing your face and hearing your voice.
Thank
And
you,
learning so
Mia.
much more about you.
So much.
Yes, this was wonderful. You're the best.
Likewise.
Everyone go give Mia a follow if you enjoyed this episode. Please support her on whether it's her website, TikTok, Instagram. She has stories for days and weeks and months and years. So we appreciate you.
Oh, appreciate you all. And thanks for listening. T2A. You guys are the best. That's my closing remark. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Ticket to Anywhere podcast. Don't forget to connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. If you love travel as much as we do, hit subscribe on our YouTube channel as well as anywhere you listen to podcasts such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and Pocket Casts. Thank you all for your support so far. When you have the time, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We love to hear your thoughts and feedback, and it'll help others come across our episodes and hopefully be inspired to travel and adventure anywhere.